Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Great Awakening Generator. I'm your host, Rose McNair, and today I have with me Angela Calver from KiwiHarvest. Hello, Angela.
Morning.
How are you today?
I am great. Thanks for having me along.
You're very welcome. You guys have such an amazing initiative, and it's just something we want to um, be able to provide a platform for talking more about it and creating more community awareness and sending it all over the place so people know that this is available and anybody who wants to support it can support it. Anybody who needs the support can contact you. So everyone, KiwiHarvest. KiwiHarvest is an organization here in New Zealand. And basically, my understanding, I'll give a basic understanding of what I know of KiwiHarvest, because Angela is going to tell us more about it. That's what she's come here for. So KiwiHarvest is an organization that has an agreement with supermarkets for collecting their food that they're not going to put on shelves and in the fresh produce area, etc. And this then is packaged and redistributed to people in the community that cannot afford to buy food. So that's in a nutshell, that's what my understanding of KiwiHarvest is. Angela, so before we go to you telling us what expounding what I just said, please tell us a little bit about you and your connection to KiwiHarvest.
Sure. So local Auckland girl, grew up in East Auckland, have worked in the food profit sector for most of my life. And through COVID, got involved with food rescue. And I've been heading up KiwiHarvest now for just over a year.
Okay. So food rescue, that's something interesting. I've not heard that before, that term.
Yeah, so what we do is we go in and rescue food from a variety of places. We'll travel right along the food supply chain, so from growers, transport companies, retailers, wholesalers, importers. We don't rescue food from homes unless someone's having a clean out of their pantry and has got some shelf-stable goods. We don't generally take any produce or meat, that sort of thing. And we rescue it before it goes to landfill. So we avert greenhouse gases being made by the food waste. And we supply currently 244 charities that have food as part of their services. Okay. So we're not directly giving it to people in need. We give it to charities that do give directly. Okay. So it's a mix right through from women's refuges, homeless shelters, transitional housing, organisations that do food parcels, right the way through to schools and kindergartens.
Okay. So basically, this is it. It's you are the intermediary between collection and of food and distribution of it, right? From these various organizations or growers, supermarkets, etc. I think that's an amazing initiative to have, especially that food is so, as we know, is expensive at the moment, but also it's not something, I think before now, I feel like we didn't have such a platform that we were talking about it as much as we are talking about it now. It took food prices hitting the sky and beyond for people to start talking openly about food. I feel like it's just been not intentionally, but people don't talk about that as much as we do now. So it's a good thing that there's organizations like KiwiHarvest. So how long has KiwiHarvest been around though?
We've just gone past our 11th birthday.
Wow. Okay.
And we've just gone past the milestone of collecting 10 million kilos of food.
Wow.
Before it goes to landfill.
Mm.
So that's averted about 26.5 million kilos of greenhouse gases from being created, and has fed, well, has done 10 million, what does that work out to? About 35 million food, 25 million meals.
Right.
So there's some pretty big milestones to hit. I think part of the reason, Rose, that it hasn't been discussed before is, like you say, the price of food, but also, you know, we've seen poverty grow since COVID. We've got a new classification of people according to MSD, the Ministry of Social Development, and that is the working class poor. So these are people, generally the demographic is in Auckland, 2 parents on minimum wage jobs. By the time they pay the rent, the fuel to get to work, to make the money, the utilities, they don't have enough money to cover the full week of food. There's also the stats that have come out around the amount of waste in New Zealand. We produce enough food to feed 40 million people.
Wow.
But we still have 15% of our children in food insecurity. That means that, you know, the outcomes for them health-wise and, you know, society-wide, it's pretty hard to change when you don't have a full belly.
Yeah.
You know, food is fundamental to well-being, to prospering in life.
Yes.
The other stat that was shocking to me was that if food waste was a country globally, the biggest emitter of greenhouse gases is China, followed by America, and then food waste.
Wow.
25% of the globe's water goes into manufacturing food that is then thrown away.
It's not logical at all, is it? It's
No.
far from logical. Yes. So this is a really good venture. I will call it a venture that KiwiHarvest has been about for all this time, because it's about sustaining the planet and making good use of food, ensuring that it goes to people who can eat it and have nourishment and sustenance from it, and not end up in the landfill and creating more pollution on the planet, or, you know, whatever detriment comes out of that. So wow, yeah, that's staggering. It's just understanding that.
It is.
And you know, I asked this before the last time. One more thing before I go to this. So when we spoke the last time, you were talking about that target of 10 million. Is that what you mean when you talked about reaching 10 million? You gave us a figure just now about reaching the milestone. Was it 10 million tons of food?
So that's since KiwiHarvest was started in Dunedin by Deb Manning 11 years ago. We've rescued 10 million.
Okay.
We did 2.1 million kilos last year.
Okay.
In 2022. Okay. Our goal is to get to 4 million kilos within 1 year.
Yes.
So that's basically doubling the size of our organisation. To do that.
Okay.
Within our existing infrastructure.
Great. So you mentioned Deb. Can you say her surname again? The lady who started it?
Deborah Manning.
Deborah Manning. That's right. I remember. Look, it's been a while since we spoke. So Deborah Manning.
Yeah.
Are you able to tell us a little bit about what inspired her to do this?
Sure. Well, she was a lawyer down in Dunedin, and you know, her children had all started to study or work, and she wanted to do something more significant with her life, and wanted to really leave a good footprint on the world. And she was just reading the local Otago Daily Times, read an article about people dumpster diving for food because they did not have enough food. And then the next page, she read an article about how much greenhouse gases food waste was contributing.
Okay.
And so started researching about food rescue.
Okay.
Started in the back of her car 11 years ago now,
Yeah.
collecting food from a local supermarket and giving it to the local women's refuge.
Wow. Wow.
And
Amazing
it's grown
lady.
since then. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Amazing
really is.
lady. Good, 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 good initiative. Good, good. Way to spend your time once your children have left home to make a difference like that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's a very good human being.
Yes, of course. Yes, indeed.
Hmm.
Right. Wow. So, how do the operations take place? Or, I ask this question so that people can start to imagine it in
Yeah.
their mind's eye. Yeah.
So we have 270 food donors. That includes supermarkets that we pick up from. We have 11 vehicles on the road. And each morning, our team will come in and load up what food we have in the warehouse available. And then they will simply do a couple of collections and then drop to a recipient agency.
Okay.
So we've really taken a look at our logistics in the last year and made sure that we are calling on agencies right before they do their service. So if they have volunteers coming in to make up food parcels, we will deliver to them as their volunteers are arriving, so that the food has the most chance of ending up in hands that can utilise it. We have some quite distinct group of stakeholders. So obviously our food donors, our food recipients, and we've been working to ensure that we are providing food to recipient agencies that really work on changing outcomes for people. So they're not just handing out food. Food is part of their service, but they provide education, counselling, cooking classes, they do gardening with people. They rehome people. Women's refuges are classic. They have a great way in and a great way out.
Yes.
To help people. They enable people to change their circumstance. So that's, an indirect operation. We also have an amazing group of volunteers that help us out each week. We have about 60 volunteers a week through our 5 branches, and we couldn't do the work that we do without our volunteers. And then we have a group of people that help fund our enterprise, really, and that goes right the way through from mum and pop through to corporate.
Okay. So it comes from
our regular giving individuals are really the backbone of our that enable us to do our work.
Yeah.
A donation of $15 to KiwiHarvest enables us to distribute enough food for a family of 4 food parcel.
Wow. Okay. So to our listeners, please bear that one in mind. Yeah. Bear that in mind. $15 is not a lot of money, but if you're thinking you want to support KiwiHarvest, there you go. There's something some information you have to start off with. So the operations obviously has got we'll call them sponsors or sponsors that provides financial support or support by donating a vehicle or something like that. This is how that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have some corporate sponsors. Rabobank's one of our key sponsors, and Goodman Property as well.
Great.
We also, deal with Countdown and Foodstuffs. We've got some great new corporate sponsors that have come on board: CMC Marketing, Sony, AMP. They give us a small amount of money each year.
Okay.
Small in comparison to our overall cost to operate.
Yes.
Large for them. I mean, it is a wonderful gift.
Absolutely. Yeah.
wonderful sponsorship that enables them to do team building, bring their team in and sort food with us. And we are very appreciative of all of that because it all adds up to mean that we can do our mihi.
Absolutely. So coming to this, where can people find more information? And if they want to, obviously, if they want to do sponsorship or volunteering for KiwiHarvest, if you could provide us with some of that information, that would be good.
Sure. So if they go to kiwiharvest.org.nz, there's various different tabs there about volunteering, about donating, about getting involved. And we have all of our news. We put out a quarterly newsletter that talks about what we've been involved in. We've been very busy since the floods and Cyclone Gabriel.
Can imagine.
People.
Yes.
Once again, the demand's grown. The demand grew over COVID, hasn't gone away. And unfortunately, it's just gone up again with the floods and the cyclone.
Yeah,
so
that's right. Yeah, that would be the case, wouldn't it? Wow. It's, you guys are doing a good job. That's all I can say. I know it's saying a good job, but that's just ordinary terms. You're doing really well in terms of supporting the community. I think this is such an awesome initiative because when people have a full belly, when the hunger pangs are satisfied, then so much more empowerment can come from that. And it's you can get yourself into a good balanced state if you know that you're not hungry, if you're not feeling hunger pangs.
And sourcing food for your family is a key stressor for people. I've been at that point, many moons ago now, thankfully, but wondering how you were going to pay for a full week's groceries is very, very stressful.
Exactly.
And no one wants to be in this position. No one works hard to get into this position.
Yeah.
We've got food inflation at 23%.
Wow.
65% inflation on the price of an egg.
Yeah. Wow.
There is some scary stuff happening out there with our food supply.
Really scary stuff. You
can't go to school and do a good day's schoolwork on sugary cereal.
Yes.
Wheat bix and eggs and all that sort of staple nutrition is really important.
Very important.
Really, really important.
Yeah, which comes to the next question, my next question. I noticed that you're running some education programs. When I looked at the website, you do some educating. So what education is provided to the community, to people, or do you do any of it at all? I know the agencies do, they'll have things like running a cooking class, or I know of some agencies that do that, or share recipes, things like that. Because I think part of being able to provide a good meal for your family is having the know-how, because some people don't know how to cook or lack budgeting skills, lack buying groceries, or thinking about the practicality of how you buy the groceries, and you think of how you'll manage for the whole week. So is it something like that you guys are involved in?
We have recipes in our resource centre on our website. I'm happy to talk at anyone that will have me.
Yes.
Basically. Yes. We talk about food waste there. We give some tips about how you can minimize food waste. Because, people, we rescue from the supply chain. We don't rescue, as I said before, from households.
Yes.
But households are where it really makes a difference. Because if you continually go to the supermarket and buy food that you then throw away, the supermarkets have got quite sophisticated demand planning tools, looking at, how many carrots were sold last week, last month, this time last year, public holidays surrounding it, all of those sort of sophisticated demand planning tools. But if you're consistently going in and buying a dozen carrots and only using 6 and throwing 6 away, the supermarket back down the chain are sending those messages to the growers to plant and grow those 12 carrots just for 6 of them to be thrown away on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
So this is where we talk to people about menu planning, about the importance of it, and try and help people see the flow back effects. Because, you know, I often say to people, when you throw away a carrot, what are you throwing away? And they go, oh, a vegetable. But actually you're throwing away the seed for that carrot, the nutrients that went into the dirt, the water that went in to grow that carrot, the labor that went into harvesting that, cleaning it, packing it up, putting it in packaging, transporting it from the grower to the wholesaler, from there to the supermarket staff labor to put it on the plinth for you to go and grab it. If you go through a regular checkout rather than, you know, do the self-service, the labor of that person to scan that product, your fuel to get it home, your refrigerant and electricity to keep it, only for it then to go in the bin. That's actually a very long supply chain of resources that you are throwing out.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's the kind of education that we do when we come and speak to people.
I think that's really good education, because quite often we think about what's in front of us and we never think about, especially in terms of food now, we never think about where it came from, what went into bringing it to the table or to the plate. And this lack of honor too for where it's come from, when we ignore all of that and say, well, oh yeah, I'll eat some of it, I'll throw the other bits of it, I won't, you know. You can share your food, even if you can't use those 6 carrots. You can share you can give it to somebody who might use it. We have to start
you can make
getting
carrot cake. You can make a stew. You can use leftovers. There's a little bit of time in your menu planning will save a lot of resources.
And make your own frozen carrots, you know, because you sometimes buy frozen veggies, and we buy frozen carrots. I don't buy frozen carrots because I think I like fresh carrots. But also buy what you need. You know, that's the other thing, buy what you need. Because that impacts when you buy as much and you don't use all of it and you throw some of it out. There's that whole supply chain you explained, but it's also the impact on prices as well. You know, I know the supermarkets are part of this whole process, but there's also the impact of prices, because the more there's a demand for it, perhaps they have, like you say, I'm sure the pricing tool is there as well to say, well, we look at demand and we see, oh, what can we do with this? Do we increase the price? How does it fit in terms of profit making? And you know, that's business. That's what they have to do. But yeah, perhaps they could do it with something else other than carrots, for example. just being silly, but
well, they respond to consumer demand. Also, they get complaints about the fact that if they don't have a carrot on the available for sale, you know, we as consumers have really got that instant gratification, even with what we buy, even if it's not available. And after the cyclone and after the floods, we took out a lot of arable land that we grow from.
That's right.
So, you know,
we've
got a 31% decline in kiwi fruit this year. Times are going to be tough shortly. So we saw the shortages with COVID in the supply chain. We're seeing egg shortages now because of regulations that were put in place. So I think as consumers, we need to, like I say, plan and you know, only buy, purchase and use what we need. But we're going to see more shortages coming up. So
I think
have to get used to.
that I think that's expected. We know that it's coming. You talked about educating people from the perspective of growers, something like that you said earlier. So do you have people teaching other, teaching the members of the public or from the teaching people at the agencies how to plant and grow food themselves?
We do have agencies that have plant boxes that are teaching
Okay.
gardening.
Okay.
Our KiwiHarvest branch in Queenstown at the moment is doing a fundraiser where
Okay.
people can go into the supermarket, do their shopping and donate a can or that sort of thing. And for every shopping trolley that we get filled up, there's a organisation that are working with us that for each full trolley, they will then donate a planter box that then to one of our agencies for them to, A, they teach gardening, but B, they use that produce on an ongoing basis to feed people.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. Yeah. Tell us about the 5 branches, where they are. And the reason I say that is because I know that it doesn't matter because it's obviously supporting the whole of New Zealand. But just for interest's sake, so people know that this is available in their zone, so to speak of.
The KiwiHarvest have got 5 branches. We've got Highbrook,
Mm-hmm.
then we've got a branch over the North Shore. As everyone in Auckland knows, dealing with Auckland traffic is so much fun. But
Not?
we are an environmental company as well.
Yes.
As a social enterprise trying to feed people, it doesn't make any sense for us to add to greenhouse gases by driving a diesel truck all the way over Auckland.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a small facility over the shore. We run 2 vehicles out of our North Shore branch. They do from the bridge up to Wellsford.
Okay.
And then our Highbrook does right the way down to Pukekohe, up to the bridge and over
Okay.
west. We then have Queenstown, Invercargill and Dunedin, where it all started from.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. It's nice to know. So Angela, before we say goodbye to you, I think I've covered everything, but that we talked about talking today, telling our audience about. Is there anything else you want to tell us about? I mean, are you looking for more volunteers? Anything else that's happening at KiwiHarvest that we should know about?
Well, for us to grow and reach our 4 million kilo target, we are always on the hunt for more volunteers, more funds, more food, and more recipient agencies as well.
Yes.
We're wanting to support our local area. And supplying 244 charities means that we do reach deep into the communities that we're with.
Okay.
So yeah, supporting the communities, getting that support back is amazing, and the reason that we do a lot of what we do.
Yes. So and to find out more, people can go to kiwiharvest.org.nz. Did I say that right? Right. And I will put a link in the description box anyway, so people can look at it if they need to, for quick reference.
Amazing.
Are you working with co-ops?
How do you mean?
Like, how people within communities get together and they form a cooperative, people's cooperative. I'm not sure if you've heard of the People's Health Alliance. The People's Health Alliance has come to New Zealand now. They started in England. And one of the things that they are affiliated to is the People's Food and Farming Alliance. And so they form co-ops, like, for example, in East Auckland, there's so many different areas. There's Pakuranga, there's Howick, there's Botany. And so people in that zone all get together, they plant or they buy food collectively. So they save on all these other costs, and they distribute the food between them. So that's what I mean, co-op people like. So, or is it just that you work with agencies only?
No, look, we'll talk to anyone and look at any programs that are out there.
Okay, that's fine. That's good to know. Because the People's Health Alliance have come to New Zealand in the last maybe 8 months or so. And I've been a part of them, and I did wonder if you have any affiliation to the People's Health Alliance. They did some work when there was the cyclone and all of that, and the flooding. They had gone out as one of the agencies that gone out to help, you know, on the ground, so to speak of. So yeah.
Like I say, Rose, we're happy to talk to
Okay.
people that are trying to address the endemic need around food poverty.
Yes. Okay, great.
We're happy to talk to them.
Okay. Yeah, now that you said that, I think perhaps it's different. The co-ops are really about individual people coming together in a specific zone and supporting one another, growing together and buying together. So yours is a charity in that the food comes for free. But I guess if we have people that I need, then that's a different story. We can come to you and have a chat. Yeah. Okay. So anything else, Angela, before you go?
No, just thank you for having me back for a chat. And,
You're always welcome. Remember, radio, you can come back to radio as well, because we it's nice to keep the conversation going so that people do not forget, you know, that there's this thing going on and they can support it. They can tell others about it who might need it, or even if they need it themselves, then it's available there. Great.
wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for getting the news out, Rose.
Absolutely welcome. Absolutely welcome. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you got something out of this conversation here on the Great Awakening Generator. And please do jump online and check out the website for KiwiHarvest, which is kiwiharvest.org.nz, and see what you can do. You might want to volunteer for them and, you know, support the community in that way, because there is always some little thing that we can do. All right. So until next time, I'll catch you then. I'm Rose McNair, and I've been talking to Angela Calver. Bye-bye, everyone.